A mediator was just assigned to Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's nasty legal battle.
Life is too short to work with people who are.
You'll remember Justin accused his co-star and Ryan Reynolds of trying to steal the movie from him. Now, a resurfaced video seems to support that claim. Listen to what Blake said 2 years ago at the Forbes Power Women's Summit.
I don't want to just be an actor. I want to have more authorship. And sometimes I had directors or producers or writers who would welcome that and invite.
Justin Baldoni's lawyer reacts to Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' SNL appearance. In an interview on Hot Mics with Billy Bush, posted on February 17th, Brian Friedman shares his thoughts after the couple made a cameo during the sketch comedy show's 50th anniversary special on February 16th.
I'm unaware of anybody, frankly, whose wife has been sexually harassed and has made
I
jokes.
defend Justin Baldoni in this lawsuit with Blake Lively because I think she's horrible and she's made up this whole thing because she tried to steal his movie. But he is the most overly feminized man I've had to endure in recent history. Everything he says is self-flagellating over the fact that he's a man. But he's, to me, is sort of the embodiment of what happens when you totally emasculate a man. And then she continued, she took that stiletto and stuck it in his heart when he was down there self-flagellating, being so sorry for anything having to do with his testosterone. And so that's what happens to you, right? You run into somebody who seems like a witch who will take advantage of you and hurt you until finally even that kind of a guy rises up. Now, he didn't do it himself exactly. He hired a badass named Brian Friedman. And he has badass women like me defending him. Mm-hmm. But slowly but surely, I think the male class is learning down on the floor, squirming and apologizing for being a man is not
Hollywood
the way.
Is no stranger to jaw-dropping scandals. But the explosive showdown between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has taken celebrity drama to another level. What began as hushed whispers behind the scenes has erupted into a full-blown Hollywood war, dragging A-list names into the fray and leaving the industry deeply divided, with lawsuits flying, careers on the line, and even unexpected stars stepping in. This isn't just another tabloid feud, it's a high-stakes battle that could change everything. At the heart of the controversy are serious allegations made by Lively, who has accused Baldoni of inappropriate behavior and professional misconduct. In response, Baldoni hasn't just denied the claims, he's firing back with a massive $400 million defamation lawsuit, arguing that Lively's accusations are not only false, but an attempt to ruin his career. As the battle plays out in court, it's also dominating headlines and social media, with celebrities, fans, and industry insiders all choosing sides. But just when things couldn't get any more intense, an unexpected figure stepped into the spotlight, Mark Wahlberg. His decision to publicly support Baldoni has sparked even more controversy, leaving everyone wondering, why is Wahlberg getting involved? And what does he know that we don't? Just when it seemed like the battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni couldn't get any more intense, Mark Wahlberg entered the conversation, and he didn't hold back. In a recent interview, Wahlberg came to Baldoni's defense, shutting down Lively's allegations and calling them completely out of character for the man he knows. Wahlberg, who has worked with Baldoni on past projects, painted him as a dedicated professional and stand-up guy, not the manipulative figure Lively has described. Justin has always been one of the most genuine people I've met in this industry, Wahlberg insisted. This whole thing feels like a hit job. His statement immediately set off a firestorm online, with some praising Wahlberg for standing by his friend, while others slammed him for seemingly dismissing Lively's claims without considering the evidence. But Wahlberg's involvement also raises a bigger question. What does he know that the public doesn't? Could it be that he has inside information that hasn't been revealed yet? Or is this simply a case of Hollywood loyalty at play? Either way, Wahlberg's words have pushed this feud into even bigger territory, and the reactions from Lively's camp came swiftly. Blake Lively wasn't about to stay silent after Mark Wahlberg publicly dismissed her allegations. Within hours of Wahlberg's statement making headlines, Lively's legal team issued a fiery response. calling his remarks uninformed and reckless. It's disappointing to see people with influence making definitive statements without knowing all the facts, her representative stated. This is exactly why so many victims are afraid to speak up. Lively herself hasn't made a direct public statement yet, but sources close to her say she was deeply hurt by Wahlberg's comments. Some insiders even claim that she believes his defense of Baldoni is less about the truth and more about protecting Hollywood's inner circle. Her response didn't just stop with words, though. Lively's legal team is now pushing for additional evidence to be made public, including text messages and emails that they claim will prove her case. If that happens, things could get even uglier for Baldoni, and Wahlberg may find himself caught in the middle of something far bigger than he anticipated. But Wahlberg isn't backing down either. In fact, after Lively's response, he doubled down on his stance, and what he said next shocked everyone. If Blake Lively thought Mark Wahlberg would back off after her legal team's fiery response, she was dead wrong. Instead of stepping away from the drama, Wahlberg doubled down, making it clear that he stood by his words, no matter the backlash. In a follow-up statement, Wahlberg didn't just defend Baldoni again, he took direct shots at Lively's accusations, suggesting that the entertainment industry is full of people willing to twist the truth for personal gain. "I've been in this business long enough to know when something doesn't add up," Wahlberg said. "I stand by Justin because I know his character. I won't be bullied into changing my stance." That statement sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Wahlberg was no longer just defending his friend. He was implying that Lively might not be telling the whole story. Fans immediately took sides, with some applauding Wahlberg for being fearless in the face of cancel culture, while others accused him of shutting down a woman's voice before all the facts were out. And just when it seemed like things couldn't escalate any further, another Hollywood A-lister jumped into the conversation, one that no one saw coming. Just when the dust seemed to be settling, another A-list celebrity unexpectedly entered the conversation, shaking things up even more. According to inside sources, Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively's husband, is now getting involved. And if there's one thing Hollywood knows, it's that Reynolds doesn't hold back when it comes to defending his wife. While Reynolds hasn't made an official statement yet, insiders claim he's been fuming behind the scenes and is considering addressing Wahlberg's comments directly. Some reports suggest he's already been reaching out to high-profile Hollywood figures to rally support for Lively, potentially putting Wahlberg in an even tougher spot. And it's not just Reynolds. Other Hollywood stars are reportedly taking sides. Some are backing Wahlberg's claims that the industry is full of twisted narratives, while others are standing with Lively, arguing that this case is about much more than just a personal dispute. Now, with Hollywood fully divided and fans watching every move, the real question is, how far will this battle go? And could it actually start affecting careers? Because behind the scenes, whispers are growing that this feud might have serious consequences, not just for Baldoni and Lively, but for Wahlberg and even Reynolds himself. With Mark Wahlberg standing firm behind Justin Baldoni and Ryan Reynolds reportedly preparing to step into the fight, this feud has gone from a heated dispute to a full-blown Hollywood standoff. But now industry insiders are saying that this might not just be about words anymore, it could start affecting careers. Some sources claim that major studios are watching the situation closely, wary of being associated with controversy. Baldoni, who has several upcoming projects in the works, is reportedly facing pressure from executives to resolve the situation quickly before it starts affecting box office numbers. Meanwhile, Lively, who has always been seen as a media favorite, is now at the center of intense scrutiny, some questioning her claims, others rallying behind her. As for Wahlberg, some fans admire his unwavering loyalty, while others see his involvement as unnecessary and damaging to his own image. Could this feud actually put his reputation on the line? Industry insiders suggest that while Wahlberg is too established to be canceled outright, the backlash could affect future casting decisions, especially if the controversy drags on. And then there's Reynolds. If he officially steps in and publicly defends Lively, he could reshape the entire conversation, potentially tipping the scales in her favor. But at what cost? Going head-to-head with Wahlberg, another Hollywood powerhouse, might create long-term tension in the industry. With so much at stake, one thing is clear. This isn't just about one lawsuit anymore, it's turning into a defining Hollywood battle. And what happens next might change everything. And speaking of what happens next, one major Hollywood decision could be the final nail in the coffin for someone involved. As this Hollywood feud reaches new heights, industry insiders are now speculating about who stands to lose the most, and the answer might not be as obvious as it seems. Despite Mark Wahlberg's vocal support, Baldoni is far from in the clear. Sources close to some of his upcoming projects say that studios are getting nervous, especially as more details of the legal battle emerge. One producer reportedly stated, "No studio wants their lead actor caught in a controversy that could damage box office sales." Some whispers suggest that if this situation doesn't cool down soon, Baldoni could be quietly dropped from certain projects, a fate that's all too common in Hollywood when reputations become liabilities. While some in Hollywood are rallying behind Lively, there's also speculation that she might be facing unexpected backlash. Wahlberg's comments, whether intentional or not, have cast doubt over her claims, and some online discussions are starting to turn against her. However, Lively isn't backing down. Insiders say she and her legal team are strategizing a major move, potentially releasing never-before-seen evidence that could completely change the narrative. If that happens, it could not only take down Baldoni, but also put Wahlberg in an even worse position for defending him. For Wahlberg, this feud was supposed to be about standing by a friend, but now his involvement might be costing him more than he expected. Industry analysts say that while Wahlberg is a Hollywood veteran with a dedicated fan base, his reputation isn't bulletproof, especially in today's cancel-ready culture. If Lively's team does drop new evidence that shifts public opinion, Wahlberg could find himself in the uncomfortable position of having defended the wrong person. Will his loyalty be seen as strength or as reckless allegiance? And then there's Ryan Reynolds, who has yet to make a public move but is rumored to be preparing a game-changing response. If he officially speaks out, it could reshape the entire power dynamic of this battle. What happens next could shock everyone, because Hollywood executives are now considering a move that could change the careers of everyone involved. At first, this controversy seemed like just another celebrity feud, but behind the scenes, big-name studios, streaming platforms, and industry power players are growing increasingly uneasy. According to multiple insiders, some of Hollywood's most influential executives are now discussing ways to contain the damage before it spirals even further out of control. But what does that mean exactly? Some executives want the controversy to die down quietly, which means pressuring all parties involved, Lively, Baldoni, Wahlberg, and even Reynolds, to step away from the public drama. This could include behind-the-scenes calls, urging them to avoid interviews, limit public statements, and let the legal process play out. The goal would be to minimize media attention and prevent further escalation. Another possible outcome is that studios start delaying or shelving projects linked to those involved. Hollywood is all about the bottom line, and if a controversy threatens profitability, studios won't hesitate to pull the plug on projects. A top industry insider put it bluntly, "No one wants to be caught in the middle of a PR disaster. If this situation keeps escalating, don't be surprised if projects quietly get delayed or even shelved altogether." This could spell major trouble for Justin Baldoni, who has multiple upcoming productions in development. Insiders claim that some studios are already reconsidering his involvement, not necessarily because they believe the allegations, but because they fear bad press and public backlash. In the worst-case scenario, if the controversy continues to dominate headlines, studios might begin distancing themselves from those involved. Hollywood has a history of freezing out stars who bring too much unwanted attention, and no one is completely untouchable. For Baldoni, that means studios could start replacing him quietly or letting his projects fade into the background. For Lively, while she has strong industry connections, some figures may hesitate to attach her to major films if they fear lingering controversy. For Wahlberg, his reputation as a no-filter, say-what-he-thinks kind of guy might make him too much of a liability in an industry that's becoming increasingly cautious about public image. And then there's Ryan Reynolds, the wild card in this situation. Insiders claim that Reynolds has been weighing his options carefully, knowing that one public statement from him could tilt the entire industry's perception. He's one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, and unlike Baldoni or Wahlberg, his career isn't at risk. He holds the power in this situation. If he chooses to speak out in support of Lively, it could force studios to take sides, shift public perception, and put immense pressure on Hollywood executives to respond. However, if Reynolds remains silent, it could signal that even he sees the situation as too risky to engage in directly. His decision, whether to intervene publicly or handle things behind the scenes, could determine how this feud plays out and who emerges with their career intact. This feud is no longer just a celebrity scandal, it's become a battle for influence, career survival, and industry power. Will Hollywood protect its own, as it has done in the past? Or will this case set a new precedent for how stars, executives, and power players handle public controversies? One thing is for sure, decisions are being made behind closed doors, and in the coming weeks, we may see some of Hollywood's biggest stars either rise to the occasion or quietly fade from the spotlight. But just when it seemed like we had all the answers, one unexpected move could change everything. As Hollywood remains on edge, all eyes are on Ryan Reynolds. While he's known for his witty, laid-back public persona, insiders claim that this time, he's not joking around. Behind the scenes, Reynolds is reportedly having high-stakes discussions with key Hollywood executives, including major studio heads and influential producers. But what's his real endgame? According to sources close to the situation, Reynolds is carefully crafting his next move, knowing that his response could reshape the entire industry conversation. Some say he's preparing a direct statement, one that would publicly put Wahlberg and Baldoni on notice while reinforcing support for Lively. However, others claim that Reynolds isn't looking for an all-out war. Instead, he's strategizing a behind-the-scenes power play to ensure that Lively's side of the story is taken seriously without completely severing ties with key industry players. One high-ranking industry executive was quoted saying, "Reynolds has influence. If he speaks out publicly, it forces the industry to listen. But he also knows how Hollywood works. He's not going to burn bridges if he doesn't have to." And that's where the real power struggle begins. At first, this looked like just another Hollywood controversy, but it has now spiraled into something much bigger. This isn't just about Baldoni versus Lively or Wahlberg versus Reynolds. It's about power, influence, and how the entertainment industry chooses to handle internal disputes in the modern era. Some insiders are even saying that this situation could change how Hollywood operates going forward. If Reynolds successfully leverages his influence to shift the narrative in Lively's favor, it could signal a new era where high-profile stars have more power than ever in shaping industry scandals. But on the flip side, if Wahlberg and Baldoni weather the storm and emerge unscathed, it could send a different message, that Hollywood still protects its own, no matter the controversy. And just when it seemed like we had all the answers, one final twist turned everything upside down. Insiders are now reporting that a previously unknown piece of evidence is about to surface, one that could completely flip the narrative. What is it? A leaked email, a hidden conversation, a shocking confession? No one knows for sure. But one thing is certain, this battle isn't over yet, And when the truth finally comes out, someone's career may never recover.